Okay, now it's recording.
We just talked so
Oh,
much,
yes.
Creighton.
Okay, so let's start this over. This is Creighton Talks, first episode. We're doing this from Charlie's room. First episode in like a little new show that I'm putting together where I just go around and interview people. My first guest today is here to talk about shadow people. For those of you that don't know, shadow people are not quite ghosts, but not quite demons either. They latch on to people and haunt them. And at least in theory. I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but like, what do you say to people who don't believe in it? Or who say, oh, she's crazy?
Oh, you can't really say anything. It's the people who understand, like they've been through the same kind of, like some level of the same type of thing. The ones who haven't, I mean, obviously, if I hadn't been through anything like this, I'd be like, you're full of shit. Like, there's no fucking way.
By the way, this is Kyle, who is kind of like been a background entity on the on the Shirt Soft.
The fat clouds, they're me.
On the Shirt Soft podcast, the last couple episodes. She's been great at her job, which is just kind of like chilling, making sure our audio sounds great. So, yeah. And I decided to interview her as part of the first episode because of her experiences with shadow people, of which she says she has two that follow her and have latched onto her.
It's a rough life. Going on 9 years now. This is fun.
Oh, really? 9 years, huh?
9
years.
years.
Yeah, you're right. Because, like, when we talked in the pre-interview, you said your first experience was, like, 11.
I'm 21, bro.
Yeah. So it's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years.
That only feels like 9.
I don't count the first one. It was a trial run.
So what was your first experience like?
My first experience was in a house in Lancaster.
Off of road.
Off of road. These will all be in Lancaster.
Off of road.
No. I can tell you the road names.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you exact addresses because I don't know all
Well,
of them.
that's fine. We probably shouldn't.
I know 2 of them,
We
but
probably
not
shouldn't
all
release
3.
exact addresses.
Well, it seems like they're not at the house, so.
Well, no, that.
Oh,
but
fuck
still.
the people. I hope they get haunted.
By the way, this is no holds bar interviewing. They can pretty much, we can say fuck, shit, damn, whatever. Just no hate speech.
Watch your ears, children.
Definitely a rated PG-13. Well,
I mean,
PG-14. You remember when PG-14?
You're listening to an episode about shadow people, so.
Yeah, on the Shirt Soft podcast channel. So, by the way, all these will be going up on the Shirt Soft podcast, or not on the Shirt Soft podcast, but on Chris Catone's channel on YouTube, where all our Shirt Soft podcast episodes are, and a couple of the Two Bros Being Schmoes episodes. We're going to be doing these, not me and Kyle specifically, but I'm going to be interviewing different people, releasing about 5 at a time for this first round, and then another 5, and that'll be our first season. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, back to what you were saying, your first experience.
First experience, I was 11. Pretty traumatic time to have something like this happen.
You alright?
So I went to sleep. I don't remember what I did that day, so don't ask. I went to sleep. I woke up at 11:30. I remember because I saw the clock that was on my TV. You could pretty much see my room for the most part from the street light in the backyard that shines through my window. So you can see like my dresser behind like where the attic stairs would be. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's an attic.
You're staying in the room with the attic.
Future home buyers, don't buy a house with an attic. It's bad juju, clearly.
Bad juju.
It's been a long 10 years.
I feel bad because you were telling the story so good the first time I looked down, it wasn't recording. I'm so sorry. That's my bad.
It happened.
First interview jitters, I guess.
Well, my first interview was spot on. So, you could see like my dresser, you could see like my parents' bedroom door, you could see like my closet, my TV, and everything. And so I rolled over, saw the clock, and was like, okay. And then noticed the attic was open with the stairs down. Don't like that at all. So I rolled back over to try and go to sleep because I don't fuck with attics. That's a given. And as I was rolling over, you could hear, like, the attic stairs, like they were wooden. You could hear them creaking. Like somebody was coming down the attic. And I was very confused because I thought somebody was in the attic while I was asleep. So I rolled back over. And as I rolled back over, it was like this humanoid type. I'm not going to give, like, specifics because there wasn't really specifics to give. It was just more of a human type figure. But it was crawling on all fours, face down the attic.
And it opened the attic too? Or the
I have
attic
no clue.
was already
I was
down?
not awake when the attic door was opened.
Oh, okay.
I just woke up and it was open.
Damn.
Traumatic.
And was it one of those with the steps that comes down? Like a ladder that
like
extends?
like they fold down and everything.
So that
It was like
that
one
had
of
all
those.
extended.
Yeah,
And it was coming
everything
down.
was extended and it was just coming down the attic.
That's quite a sight for 11-year-old.
Right. And
And-
it was one of those moments where you think you're dreaming.
Yeah.
So you just, like, you try to, like, pinch yourself or something. Yeah, no.
You
Definitely
couldn't.
was awake. Definitely terrified.
And it was coming down on all fours head first.
All fours head first.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that is physically possible.
Well, it was obviously a gymnast.
Oh, that's way... Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm going to be more traumatized after this.
You're scared of gymnasts?
Yes.
As you should be.
So, as soon as I saw it, I decided to roll back over and just face the wall and act like I was asleep because, you know, things don't bother you when you're asleep. That's kid logic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, feet under the
yeah.
covers.
Sleep is like a safe
Tuck
haven.
into a ball. Act like you're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Do the fake breathing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I did. And you could just continue to hear it coming down the attic.
Now, when your attic opens in this house, could you hear it normally?
Oh,
like
it's loud.
It's loud.
It's like, you can hear, like, it's got, like, rusted ass springs.
So do you think that's what woke you up originally?
Oh, I hope not. I've never thought about that.
Because-
I've never thought about why I woke up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, I have insomnia and everything, so I just wake up whenever.
Yeah. Well, normally, and I remember seeing this in an old movie. I don't know exactly how true it is, but, like, there's a catalyst that wakes you up, but you don't remember really what it is. It just seems to you like you're just awake all of a sudden. And so that might have been what woke you up. If we're putting together the pieces of the puzzle. I tried to look at this like from a detective perspective whenever you explain it.
If I was going back through it and I had woke up a little bit sooner and heard the attic opening, that would have been way fucking worse. Way worse.
No, did you did you hear it when it got on the ground and did it like?
I had carpet, but it was like hardwood floors under the carpet, so you could definitely hear when something was like touching
Like
the ground,
stepping around the room.
around the room.
And did you?
It had that carpet sound. Like, everybody knows what a carpet sound
Yeah.
sounds like. Like, when you stepping on it and you're walking on it, it had that sound.
And it had that when it got down from the ladder?
Yes.
Now, did you hear it walk around the room at all?
You know, I kind of blocked that out of my memory. Like, if you could try to, like, hypnotize me for a second, I'm sure I could probably remember it.
Yeah.
But after
next time-
hearing it touch the ground, everything else is like a blur. Like, I blacked out.
Dang. And that's not the first time that's happened in one of these stories.
No.
So we did like a pre-interview at Waffle House the other day, and you told me like your 3 best stories for this podcast that we wanted to do. And we can tell more if you want to. These are the 3 that I really want to get to.
I was thinking about it like after I left and everything, and there's some pretty dark shit that happened I just like repressed.
If you got more, that's great. You know, we can go
Yeah.
on for as long as you want to. You know, my main goal is to make it like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but we can go on longer than that if you want to.
Absolutely.
Right now, let's see, we're at 10 minutes, so we got plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
No, as far as the first story goes, like, when you woke up the next morning, was the ladder still down from the attic?
No, ladder was up.
All of that stuff was put up.
Everything was up. It was like it never happened.
Okay. So now, did your parents ever say anything about coming in the morning?
No,
and
I
putting
remember
the
I
ladder?
asked. because the main person I thought would do it was my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Just because
That's what dads do?
No, just because he's crazy.
Oh, okay.
So he would just do stuff in the middle of the night and not tell anybody. Mm-hmm. So I asked him.
Oh, you thought it was your dad coming down the steps?
Yes.
Like,
and very creepily, so I was very worried.
Yeah.
So I asked my mom, because I didn't talk to my dad like that. Like, he creeped me out, so I just didn't. I avoided him.
Oh, yeah.
So I asked my mom, I was like, hey, did he get up? Like, middle of the night?
And just walk down ladders with head first?
Come into the room, and she was like, what? No, he was asleep. And I was like, you're 100% sure? Like 11, 12-ish, he was asleep? And she was like, yeah, 100%. Never felt him get up. And I was like, all right, thanks. And she was like, why? And I was like, I don't talk about it. It's probably nothing.
That's creepy. That's definitely something to think about.
Yup.
So you don't know who put the ladder up then? Or it could have potentially put the ladder up.
It could have just went back up in the attic for all I know.
Yeah.
Have no clue. And after that day, I refused to go in the attic. Like, I wouldn't. They would be like, hey, can you go get some? No.
Did you ever go into the attic?
After
that?
After that, no.
Never.
Like, when we were moving out, I still did not. They would hand me boxes from the attic. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't go up there.
No, did you go up there before then?
Yes.
What was it like up there? Was it like kind of like a small room, or was it just like with a window or anything? It was pretty
open. There was a window, I think, at the very end. Uh-huh. So it was like, I'm 5'4", so it was probably about that. I was a little bit shorter in 11th.
And this is the first shadow person that you saw?
Yes.
And this one has stayed with you ever since?
Yes. As far as I know. Could be a different one, but I'm pretty sure. It's got that similar feeling of super creepiness. So I'm pretty sure it's that one.
Now, how soon did you see it after it came out of the attic?
After? I didn't really see it ever in that house, but a lot of shit happened in that house, so I kind of repressed all of that, except for that, because you don't forget something like that. That's just stuck with you at that point. But pretty much everything that happened in that house, you push it down. Mm. You just shove it into a bottle and just close it.
Now, what about the second story? This is the appearance of the second one.
Yes.
Pete. This is the one that you said that you named it.
this one.
Because this one's the good one.
Yeah,
or the chill one, at least.
He wasn't... The first one was very threatening in the way it presented itself the first time. The second one, not as much.
Well, comparatively.
Comparatively, not as much. It did some shit, but we'll get into that. We're getting to it.
Well, before we move on to that, I had a question.
Yes.
When was the first time you saw it after it came out of the attic? Like, that you remember?
After it came out of the attic was after I had met Pete.
Oh, okay. So
like,
that
it was a while. It was
a while before it really started presenting itself.
I probably met Pete at like 13, 14.
Okay.
So it was a good distance between. So I thought it was just like a weird thing that happened to me that I just like, if I ignored it, it wasn't there. Mm-hmm. Until I met Pete, and then after Pete, it started showing up again. And I was like, whoa, could you go away again?
So what happened with Pete now?
So Pete, this is house number 2. We moved into it.
By the way, the creaking is Charlie's chair. There's nothing actually like moving around in here.
God, that would be way worse, wouldn't it? The whole time we're talking about it, you just hear creaking. I'm so sorry. That's what the attic sounded like.
Yeah, I bet.
This is sound effects for you guys. This is what I heard while it was coming down the stairs.
Just that slowly?
Yeah.
It came down slowly.
It came down
like
real
just
slow. No, it was not.
So,
Creighton, I can't do this. I can't do. Oh, don't do that.
So what's more scary to you, slow or just like fast? Like
very quick. I cannot do quickness. If somebody is running at me, I will fall straight to the ground. I can't handle it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I cannot handle it. I would rather someone walk very slowly towards me than run at me.
So you'd rather have a Michael Myers than a Jason Voorhees?
Because I can get away from a Michael Myers. If it's running at me, I'm slow. I know it's got me. It's already there. I'm done. Oh, I thought about it. Oh, I don't like that.
It's a horrifying image.
Yeah, it was.
Scared me too.
Yeah, I'm glad. Or can you picture it?
Yes.
Can you picture my room and everything?
So picturing it, yeah, the way you described it and it going fast is way worse than it going slow.
Like imagine something crawling, like just walking downstairs
Head
slowly.
first, by the way.
Imagine
Head first is the important part to me because that's like...
Yeah, like, how can someone possibly fucking do that? Like, those stairs are pretty fucking steep.
Oh, yeah. So any attic, if you guys can imagine, is pretty, like,
It's
pretty much just a ladder, basically,
basically, yeah.
in terms of steepness. Like,
And
maybe,
to see something, like, humanoid figure, like, it had, like, bent knees and everything. Like, you could tell it had feet. You could tell it had hands.
You just couldn't really make out a face or anything.
Couldn't make out a face. Like, it was just, like... What's the opposite of opaque? Or is opaque, like, kind of clear, see-through? Am I thinking of the right
I
word?
thought opaque was the one where it's not clear.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it's opaque.
No, it wasn't. Because you could still kind of see my dresser behind it.
Yeah.
Which was creepier.
The scariest part of it, you think?
No, the scariest part was head down.
Oh, head down.
Noticing that it was coming down head down instead of just walking down. If it was walking down, I probably could have handled it better. But the way it was crawling down at me, didn't like that. And another thing, you could tell it was looking.
Oh, like
Like, it wasn't just, like, looking down. No, it was looking like it was looking at me as it came down the stairs.
Oh, really?
So it was like it was noticing that I was there
And noticing that you could see it.
and noticing that I could see it. Because it was like 11-year-old me, like, rolls over and it's like... just like
A shocked look on
stare.
your face.
Just like, oh God, what the hell is that?
And it locked its look with you?
Yeah, as it was still moving. I looked at it and it was looking at me. It was still coming down. So it was like noticing that I was noticing it and continued to move to me.
That's horrifying.
Exactly.
So
If it had happened quicker, I probably would have had a heart attack and died, and y'all never would have heard this story.
on a lighter note, tell us about Pete.
Yeah, you guys would like Pete. Pete is one of the chillest entities that I've noticed in my life. He doesn't really do anything, but he kind of does everything.
I got you. So,
Like 9 times out of 10, it's mainly Pete that I say is moving things. But
like he'll move stuff and hide it from you, or
he has, yes, and it is annoying. It isn't aggravating, like creepy. It's just annoying because I know exactly what's happening and I need it in that moment and can't find it. And then as soon as I decide I don't want it anymore, I find it. Super aggravating. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. So, Pete, I met Pete at like 13, 14 in the second house off of near the rec center.
Okay. So that's over here then.
No.
Not. Oh, okay. I was about to say because right down the road here from Charlie's house.
It was me and my stepsister. She was there. My mom and my stepdad were in the house. My brothers were in their room, down the hall. We were sitting in the living room, and if you were sitting in the living room, you were like 10, 12 feet from the TV if you were sitting on the couch. And then beside the couch was a wall, and on the other side of the wall was a hallway that led to bedrooms.
Imagine if you're facing the TV, you got the couch, and then on your right side is the hall. The right side of the couch.
Yes.
If you're facing the TV, which is on the opposite wall.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to clear out the picture a little bit better.
That helps.
But go ahead.
And then on the left side, 3 feet from the TV is our front door, and on the other side there's an opening that goes into a dining room. We were sitting there, we were watching Hercules, I'm pretty sure.
The Disney animated classic.
Yes. Classic Disney movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. Get cultured. Thank you. So we were just sitting there, we were watching Hercules, and you could hear like someone was walking up the hallway, and it sounded like they kind of stopped at like the end of the hallway, like right beside where the couch would be. And I thought it was one of my brothers because they were in their rooms from that direction. So we kind of waited for a second, and nobody peeked their head around the corner. Nobody walked past us, so I got up and I looked down the hallway. All the doors were closed to the bedrooms.
And you get your steps coming towards you.
Yes.
Like even while you were peeking?
No. because I would have cried. Pete is a very understandable ghost, and he knows I cannot handle these things. So I went and I sat back down, and we kind of just sat there for a second and talked about it, like we paused the movie, and I was like, please tell me I'm not the only one that heard that. She was like, nope, definitely heard somebody walking up. Never heard anybody walk off. And I was like, okay, cool, glad we're on the same page. So we started the movie up again, and about the time we started the movie up again, it sounded like someone walked from in front of our TV to the front door. Mm-hmm. Just out of nowhere. It sounded like someone was already standing in front of the TV and walked to our front door.
You guys couldn't see that?
And could not see it.
Could you see, like, impressions in the carpet or anything? Like feet?
Hardwood floor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This whole house had hardwood floors. Very creaky hardwood floors. Stressful.
But, you heard it like shoes or you heard it like feet?
It sounded like feet. Like somebody had socks on.
Oh, okay.
Which was more annoying. Because it wasn't like you could hear somebody, like, smacking the ground. It was just... It sounded like one of your, like, a sibling or something walking through your house. So we immediately stopped the movie and was like, what the fuck was that? And about that, as soon as we stopped the movie and I looked at her and said that, we had papers on our dining room table and they just came flying off. Like somebody had like wiped their desk.
Yeah, just like shoved them off.
Threw everything in the floor. Just came flying from our table into the living room.
Wow.
We immediately got up and ran outside because no one else noticed it, so they don't matter. They're still in the house. They can stay in the house. We got up, we went outside and freaked out for about a good 5 minutes. Did not want to go back inside. When we finally did, we just kind of left everything in the living room and went back to my room down the hallway. And as we were going down the hallway to my room, it sounded like somebody was walking up behind us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you guys went back inside?
Like, same sound. Like somebody had socks on, was walking up behind us.
How long were you outside for, waiting for this?
We waited about 5 minutes. Like, I did not want to go back inside at all.
Uh-huh.
But she was like, it's cold. And I was like, well, there's a ghost in there, so you want to fight a ghost or you want to be cold? I'll take the cold.
How do you know he wasn't outside with you?
That is creepy, Creighton. And I'd rather not think about it.
Did you hear anything outside while you were out there?
No. Bugs.
No? Bugs? You didn't hear, like, steps and, like, leaves or anything?
Also had a wooden porch, so...
You would have heard him.
You definitely would have heard somebody walking up on you.
Well,
which would have been worse because we were outside and other people are outside and not in our house.
Unless he pulled one of those where he was just floating like he did with the living room.
Sorry.
I just
Don't you dare now.
I'm trying to look at this from an analytical perspective.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like I'm trying to break down everything that's happened. Yeah. I'm trying to break down everything that happened and how it happened. So you were going back to your room. So
going back to our room, and it's like a 10-foot hallway. Pretty decent length through the house. We're walking back through the hallway, and you could hear somebody walking up behind us. You couldn't hear anything else. You could just hear the footsteps. And we kind of ran at that point because I was very scared.
And you could hear the footsteps chasing you?
Yes, you could hear the footsteps picking up with us. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things where I thought it was going to be her, but she was behind me, and she said it was behind her.
Oh.
And so it was like...
So you didn't know until you got into the room?
Yeah.
And how long do you think it took you to get from the hallway into your room?
About 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
About 2 seconds.
Now, did you hear it from the living room? Like, as soon as you came in, you heard it behind you? Or was it only until you got
No, it was only once we got into the hallway. Like, it was like, there's like a little breakaway between the living room and the hallway.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got, like, a few feet into the hallway, like 2 feet maybe, it was behind us. And it was like you didn't want to look back because it's like that's more traumatizing to look back and actually see something than to just hear it and just keep moving forward and ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
So what did you do?
We got into my room and I like did not look back. I just closed the door behind me and you could still hear it coming up to the door. So it was still like somebody was trying to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was crying.
Now, did it try anything on the door? Or
No.
You just heard it up.
We
come up to
stopped.
the door?
When I finally got the door closed, I turned to watch the knob to see if somebody was actually coming up behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And door never moved. There was like a little like break in between the floor and the door, and I was like tempted to look under the door.
But you didn't.
But it's one of those.
But it was
moments,
dark in the hallway too.
It was dark in the hallway. It was one of those moments where it was like I'd rather not risk seeing somebody else or seeing anything of the sort under that door.
Or see like an eye looking back at you. Sorry.
Yeah,
my mind immediately goes to like
right.
the creepiest thing.
So it was just more of like, nope, we're just gonna sit in here and watch movies. So we sat down and we were. It was like about 2 hours from then. We were watching movies, just cutting up and everything, and then it sounded like somebody was having a conversation like outside of my door. Now, both of my brother's doors are like right beside mine.
So you thought it was them?
So I thought it was them, or at least one of them talking, until you couldn't really hear what they were saying. Mm-hmm. But you could tell like there was a man talking, and then you could hear a woman. So I was like, oh, it's my mom. So I went and I opened the door because I was like, nosy 14-year-old, I want to know what they're talking about. So I opened the door and no one was there. And as soon as I opened the door, the conversation stopped.
And what happened after that?
I closed the door.
Oh, you didn't like try to investigate?
I'm not looking down that hallway after what had happened. I did not want to do that.
Now, your room was at the end of the hallway, or is it just one of the doors like that you could turn to go in?
If you're going straight down the hallway, you'll come to my brother's door. Mm-hmm. Mine was kind of like catacornered off of that. On
the right or the left?
If you're going down the hallway towards the doors, it's to the right.
Okay. So in my mind, I was picturing that for whatever reason, that your room was all the way at the end of the hallway. But I mean, it is. But I mean, like, it was the very end. So like, if you open the door, you could just go straight down the hallway into the living room.
No, I had it worse. I had a little corner that you couldn't see into the hallway to.
So
if something was coming, I wouldn't know.
So, but like, if you were to say like what direction it was coming from in the hallway before you opened the door, like the voices and stuff, was it coming from the right or the left?
If you opened my door, you could see straight into a bathroom.
Okay.
It sounded like it was in front of the bathroom. Like, not fully
in it. So
in
in front of your door, then.
Like, right in front of my door. Like, if I opened my door, there were supposed to be people standing there. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't. So you were kind of, like, expecting to open the door and see your mom talking to one of your brothers, probably within that bathroom. And you open it, and nobody's there. And nobody
And no lights on or anything either, too.
On.
So
it was dark in the house. You could kind of see like the glare from the TV in the living room that I left on because I was too scared to cut anything off.
Now, did you see anything like in the bathroom, or did you just not look to try to look?
I didn't try to look because my initial thought was, well, where the hell is she? Because I heard a woman talking. The only woman that wasn't me in the house was my stepsister and my mom. And
your stepsister was in your room with you. So, and your stepsister heard the voices too?
Yes.
So
it was literally like we were hearing people talking, and I went to go look, and then the conversation
How old is your
stopped.
stepsister at this point?
She is the same age as me.
Oh, okay. So you guys are both 13, and this is happening.
Yes.
Okay. What year would you say that is? And about, like, what time of year?
2012.
Well, do you remember, like, what time of year? Winter? Like, because you said it was cold outside. So
it was cold. It was, like, in between Halloween and Thanksgiving.
Okay,
like
so fall,
area. Yeah.
almost winter.
Yeah.
That kind of area.
So, like, cool, but not, like, freezing cold outside.
Okay. And it was warm in the house, I would assume, too.
Yes.
Was it cold at all, like, in the area where you had heard the voices?
Not that I remember.
I was just asking. Normally, whenever people, like, experience, like
ghosts and stuff, it's normally cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
Well,
so,
that's
like,
how,
I was
that's
curious.
my telltale sign. Like, I get, like, a chill going straight up my neck.
Mm-hmm. Did you get that time?
Not that I remember, honestly.
So let's move on to, I have written down here your dream story.
Oh, God. The most traumatizing thing that before, this is dealing with the first thing that I've
But you had this dream after you met Pete.
This was after I met Pete. I was
Okay.
living with my ex.
And how old were you then? Because you said this
19?
this happened right
This-
before you started really hanging out with me and Charlie.
Yes.
Okay.
So, like,
This is recent. Brand new stuff.
pretty recent.
Yeah.
Not
2019, 2020,
2018.
2018. Okay.
It was, like, right before I moved out of the house.
Okay, so 2 years ago.
So, not super old, but, like, it's new. It's fresh.
Yeah.
This will probably be the most traumatizing dream that I will ever have in my life.
Absolutely.
And I have no clue what brought the dream on or why it decided it needed to be in the dream.
Evie's digging in Charlie's chair. Yeah, you guys are definitely picking that up. But you said it's the most traumatizing dream.
Yes. I have never had a dream like this before, where it was very realistic and I ended up waking up in a completely different position than I went to sleep in, and not physically possible for me to do this in my sleep without waking up.
Okay.
So, in the dream, because I don't remember falling asleep, obviously, sleep time. In the dream, I was in the house that I was living in. I remember there was also an attic in this house.
I'm seeing a pattern.
I failed my number one rule. I forgot my own rules. There was an attic in the house, but it was broken. So they had it. We had it screwed shut, but it was kind of like cracked open a little bit, which is worse. It's so much worse because you can kind of see into it, and you wish you hadn't. If you came out of our bedroom, it was straight into the living room. It was a pretty big ass living room. And you could see into the kitchen. It had like a little bar.
And this is the ex's house?
Yes.
Okay.
There was like a little bar, and you could see into the laundry room that had a door with a window. Like a little square window.
Okay.
I remember waking up in my dream it was like I was sleeping in my dream, and I woke up. But I was dreaming, not knowing I was dreaming.
Right. So it's almost like you're sleepwalking a little bit. So like
It
reality and the dream were blending together.
Yes. It felt like I had just woke up for the next day. Except it was dark.
Yes.
I remember, like, you could see out of our front door, it was definitely dark outside.
Yeah. But it was light inside the house.
Yes. Everything was on. It was the weirdest thing. Everything, all the lights were on in the house, so you could see everything and where everything was, and everything looked out of place.
Everything looked out of place?
No, everything looked normal.
Everything was in place, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember walking out of my bedroom into the living room, and I was confused because I didn't remember seeing my ex. And when I went to sleep, I knew he was there, and I know when he wakes up and it was dark outside.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way he was going to work. So I was confused, so I got up to look for him.
Yeah.
So I got out of bed, I went into the living room, didn't see anybody, but it was like I had a weird feeling that something was wrong.
Yeah. Like something was there, or something was
No,
just
just
wrong?
like something was wrong. Like something was off about where I was at. And
Okay.
it was like I couldn't put a finger on what was wrong. I remember I kind of like walked further into the living room, and I was watching the attic come down.
Oh, really?
The attic that is broken and is screwed to the ceiling. I remember watching it come down.
And the stairs extended and everything.
The stairs extended and everything, which it doesn't do unless you pull these stairs down yourself. And I remember hearing creaking, like somebody was coming down the attic again. And I was very confused, because I knew the attic couldn't be opened unless you took the screws out and you pulled it down yourself, which was very dangerous because it would fall. But it was like somebody stood there and pulled everything down themselves.
Yeah.
But there was no one there. So then I heard it sounded like somebody was coming down the stairs, and like you could hear them, and they got all the way to the bottom, another carpeted floor.
But you couldn't see anything.
There was nothing there.
Yeah.
You could hear them hit the ground, like touch the ground with their feet and everything, like step down. And then I remember the stairs folding back into the attic and the attic door shutting. and there was still no one in the house but me. We had, beside the attic, like where the stairs would come down, there was another room.
Right.
It was called the green room because the whole freaking place was like lime green in there. Don't know why. Don't know what the hell was going on in there. I remember that door opening. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, I know nobody's in the house right now.
Right.
So I like took steps to go to that room, and I could see the light flashing on and off in the room. And I was like, nope, not going to do that. So I kind of like paused in the living room, and as I paused, I watched the door slam shut.
In the green room.
In the green room. And every other door in the house was closed, except for my bedroom. That one was still
So they
open.
all shut at the same time?
Yes. It was like everything started closing off to me except for my bedroom door. And so I glanced to the kitchen, and as I did, I saw this like black figure standing in our laundry room behind the door.
Like outside?
Like outside.
Mm.
And I panicked.
So it was darker than the darkness outside?
It was, well, the laundry room, it was like a little separate like room, but it had a door.
Right.
That had a window.
Okay.
The house was fucking creepy to begin with. Like, just being in that house. I think I might not still have the video, but I have a video. And I took a video of the attic, and you can see a face in the attic.
Well, that's
If
nice.
I still have the video, I'll show you.
Yeah, we should definitely put that up in this if we find it.
Right?
Yeah. And I want to
that
put those
freaking
pictures
picture,
that
yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of pictures that you have. We'll get to that later, because I do want to get to that while we're doing
God,
this.
that shit's so creepy. Just thinking about that. So, as I see this figure, it was like the initial like heart drop of seeing the same thing that I saw like when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, fuck no.
And you knew it was the same. Like,
It,
you had
like
the same,
you could feel it. Like it had the same feeling.
Was it upside down this time? Like,
That would be way worse.
Like,
no, it was like it was
handstand
standing up
to
like
you.
a regular person.
okay. How tall would you say it is?
The top of its head, I remember it was definitely taller than I was. The window,
About my height or taller?
I think it was about your height. Because
Really?
I could see like barely see the top of its head.
So for those of
Through
you who
the
don't know,
glass.
that I'm about 6'2". So we're talking about 6 feet at least.
About a 6 foot fucking dark figure just
Yeah.
standing in my laundry room. So as soon as I saw the dark figure, it was like a heart drop. Like it just, my fucking chest clenched up so bad.
And what did you do?
I started backing up. I wouldn't look away from it because I was scared to. It was one of those things like if you see a bear, you don't want to look away from it because it might disappear.
Yeah.
So I just kept my eyes on it, and I started backing up, and as I backed up, it was moving through the door
Oh, really?
into the kitchen. But it wasn't moving, I don't know how to explain it. It was moving like it was glitching out.
Oh, kind of like The Ring? Like, have you ever seen the movie The Ring?
Yes.
Like, it was skipping a little bit.
It was skipping.
Yeah.
And it came through the door, and as it came through the door, all of the cabinets in my kitchen flung open. Everything else stayed shut, and the cabinets flung open.
Did the stuff in the cabinets fling out too?
No.
Okay.
It literally looked like an empty house. Like, I had all my furniture, but nothing was, like, in the cabinets.
Okay. That lines up for a dream, because it's hard for the brain to process, like, those kind of
Right?
details.
Like, small details
Yeah.
and stuff. So
By the way, all this is still a dream, by the way.
all
None
of this is
none
still
of
a
this
dream.
has physically happened yet.
Yet.
Okay.
They flung open, and like, I kept backing up, like, trying to get to my room without looking away from it. And it was moving. It was like it was glitching out, but it was getting closer than I would like it to for how far I was moving back from it. So it was moving faster towards me than I was moving away from it. So I got to my room, and as I got to my room, I closed the door. Like, it was, like, if I backed up, the door swung into the room. So I just kind of slammed the door, and you could hear it running to the door. And it was absolutely terrifying.
What did you
Because there was
do?
no one else in the house but me. So I slammed the door, and there was a lock on it. So I locked it, and as I was locking it, it pounded the door. And I jumped to the bed. And as I jumped to the bed, I woke up, But when I woke up, I was face first to the door on my stomach. And if you know me, I sleep on my back with my feet to the door.
Yes. So, but you were laying on the bed though, not the floor, were you?
Yeah, I was laying on my bed.
But you were facing the door.
Like my head was like
at the end of the bed,
at the door,
where your feet would go.
I'm giving a visual for Creighton so he understands.
Yeah.
You guys can't see this. I'm sorry.
Well, how far away would you say the foot of the bed is from your door?
Like 2 inches.
Oh, okay. So this is pretty small. So it's
literally like if the door had swung open, I probably would have been smacked in the head.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty tight room.
It was a pretty small room. It was like I was. Where's the long one?
She's going through patches right now.
This is the bed.
Uh-huh.
That's where the door is.
Okay, when it
So I
open.
was laying face down with my head right here and my feet down here, and when I go to sleep, my feet are right here.
Okay. So you can pretty much tell whenever somebody would come into the room anyway.
Yes. Like you would immediately know.
Yes. So what happened then? Like you woke up, you were facing the door. Did you hear anything?
I had a panic attack.
Did you hear anything or
no?
No.
It was still dark when I woke up.
Was your ex there at the time?
Yeah, my ex was asleep next to me.
Did you wake him up?
No.
No.
I did wake him up because I had a panic attack. Like I was screaming when I woke up because I was terrified to not only have that dream but to wake up and I was in a completely different position, in a position that I would have had to completely moved my whole body to get into and not just like roll over and be there. I would have had to like literally stand up and lay back down.
Were you like when you woke up? What did you see anything after that, like that night at all, that would indicate that it was behind that, or was it just the dream?
The only thing that I got from it that I could tell like it was definitely like still in the house and not just in my dream was the tightness in my chest that I get when it's near.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually if it's like the bad thing, if it's near me, I can feel it.
Yeah.
And it is the worst feeling. Like it feels like your chest is like caving in. Just because you know you've seen it.
Yeah. And
it just puts off that kind of vibe that you would get.
It's just a sinking feeling.
Yeah.
Now, what did you do the next day after that? Did you, was there any precaution?
The next day, I actually bought a bunch of sage.
And burned it in the house?
And saged the whole house.
Did it help at all?
No.
It made it worse?
Not...
Because you hear stories all the time.
Not awful. It definitely increased. Not to the extent of having the dream that I had.
I was about to say, because you hear a lot of stories whenever people try to get rid of shadow people. You know, they'll try burning sage, they'll try blessings,
yeah, it sometimes
all kinds
gets
of stuff.
Worse.
And sometimes it'll help, and then sometimes it just pisses it off.
Yeah, you know? I was I'm not gonna lie to you. When I did it, I was very worried. Mm-hmm. Just because my ex was a very religious person, and so were a bunch of his friends. I actually had a friend, Caitlin. She is more like me. She can feel things like I do. She said the first time she had walked into the house, she felt awful. Like she felt sick to her stomach.
So do you think it, the house before you were even there was potentially already haunted or had a
I have no clue. I have no clue how this thing found me or why it decided to attach itself to me. Mm-hmm. I've noticed more that I can kind of feel energies since then, since I've had my interactions that I've had.
Right. Well, we had a conversation when we were doing this pre-interview, or doing the pre-interview, that we had a conversation about if you think that you have ESP or any kind of gifts, that maybe it was attracted to that energy or anything like that. But you said that you didn't feel any you had any before this anyway.
I guess to an extent, it's just it feels like I'm reading people, but it's just they don't even have to say anything to me. It's just a vibe that they give off. So it's that kind of thing, but it's just all the time. But it's not always with people. It's just if I'm walking into a room.
Places give off vibes and that kind of thing.
Like, if I walked into an old house, it would feel different than walking into, like, a brand new house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a different feeling in the room.
Now, is this along the same time you were getting, like, handprints and scratches? Because we did talk about that last night.
That was actually in that house.
Oh, okay. So that was around the same time period.
Yes. It was actually after I had that dream.
Really? And you burned the sage?
It wasn't after I burned the sage, which was weird. I thought that would trigger it.
Mm-hmm.
It was after I had a bunch of people over. We were having like a movie night. A whole 5 people saw this next interaction.
Mm.
So that's nice. It's not just me seeing it. So we were sitting down and you could hear like creaking. And my initial thought after because I'd had the dream was, oh, fuck the attic. So I was like freaking the fuck out, like by myself. And I like looked over and Caitlin, my friend, was looking into my kitchen and she was like horrified.
Yeah.
Like I was like very concerned for her because she looked like she had like watched her grandma die or something.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like paused the movie and everybody was like, what? And I was like, Caitlin, are you okay? And she was like, bro, look in your kitchen. And I was like, we all turned at the same time. And as we turned, my cabinets were opening. Like all of them. And it was
Which is
humbling.
what was happening in your dream.
It was what was happening in my dream.
So like they were opening and closing, or just all of them were opening one by one, or were they?
It seemed like she had watched it do it a few times the way she looked.
Yeah.
But when we looked, it was like were closed and we just watched them open.
All of them at the same time?
And they just stopped. They didn't move again. They just stayed open. And it's never happened before except in my dream.
All of them opened at the same time. It wasn't like one at a time, like, is this all at once?
It was just all of them just creaked open.
And
I was like, whoa, that sucks. And the religious few of the group were very scared. They were like, what the fuck? And I looked at Caitlin and I was like, remember the dream? I told you about the dream. And she was like, dude, I'm going to cry.
So what did y'all do?
They thought somebody was in the house. Don't know how the hell they got that from watching cabinets open, but my ex and, the like big beefy friend that he had went walking through our whole house and was like, there's got to be something. And then they came, they didn't find anything, clearly.
Yeah.
They came, they sat back down, and as they sat down, we were talking for a little bit, and you could hear...
The creaking again?
No. It sounded like somebody was walking above us.
Oh, really? In the attic?
In the attic. Like, quickly. Like, pacing.
Back and forth over you guys?
Yes. And we all just kind of, like, stopped for a second, and as we looked up, you could hear something... So it sounded like something rolled, but, like, small. Like, it was we found it. We found what it was. Don't know how the hell it got there. It was a BB. Like from a little BB gun?
Yeah.
It was a little green BB, and it rolled. You could hear it rolling, and you heard it hit the ground.
In the attic?
No. We found it in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
The attic is like, attic
so
here.
So you heard it rolling
here,
in the attic?
Green room's here, kitchen entrance is here.
And where's the attic entrance in between?
The attic entrance is like right here.
I'm glad you just did that for me.
You're welcome.
But so we're talking about like all within about a 10-foot radius.
Yes.
Of each other.
Yes.
In the attic entrance, you said is in between the green room and the kitchen.
Yes.
But not in the living room.
No, it's in like this little like corridor.
Like kind of like a foyer.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
So.
But the BB didn't come from the attic. It just, you heard it rolling in the attic, and then you found it in the kitchen. We
heard it hit the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
Like somebody had dropped it. And if you looked at the attic, the way it was broken, it was like the attic was cracked open on one end.
Uh-huh.
And you could see into the attic a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and where the BB had landed, the only logical explanation, because there was no BBs in the house.
Yeah.
The only logical explanation that I could figure out was it came from the attic.
Right.
which scared me more because I was like, how the fuck did this thing just roll in the attic and just land in my kitchen?
Like, almost like it came through the ceiling into the kitchen.
Yes. So I was like...
Now, how far away is the attic entrance from the kitchen?
Like, not even a foot.
Okay, so, like, it's possible it could have been rolled all the way to the attic entrance and then come out that little clearing. Okay, well, that's... I mean, like, that's terrifying. But at least it's not, like, just coming through ceilings, you know?
Yeah, that would have been way worse.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was coming. It had came out of the attic.
Mm.
Well, I picked it up and I threw it away. Because nobody believed me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody heard the sound, that same sound that I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could fathom that it was coming from the attic.
But they were all, like, chill after, like, seeing all the cabinet doors open and everything?
They acted like nothing happened. And me and my friend Caitlin were freaking out.
That might be the worst part. Like, that they just acted like nothing happened.
I swear that guy was possessed.
Which guy?
The ex.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, you think he was...
He was strange when we got to that house.
Really?
Like, he moved differently. Like, he acted different than he normally would.
Mm-hmm.
Which was weird because we literally lived, like, across the street from his old house.
Oh.
So it was just like, I don't understand.
Now, did he change, like, as soon as y'all moved in, or...
Yes.
What was he like before?
Awesome.
Sorry, not to change the subject, but, like, you know, it's just one of those things where it could be, like, a case of possession.
Well, it very, very well could be. Because he was not as aggressive as he was when we moved into the house.
Uh-huh.
Led to a bad situation.
If you don't want to talk about
it. Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. It ended up leading to a bad situation, and that's the reason I left.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like a completely different person.
Right.
And he got very aggressive, and it turned into a very bad situation for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he still lives in the house.
Now he still...
Yeah, he still lives in the house.
Okay.
Very creepy.
How is he now? Like, do you ever hear people?
I don't know. I don't talk to him.
Do you know people that talk to him?
Yes and no. They don't really talk to me about him, so...
It's kind of like
it's like an awkward subject for them.
I got you.
So... But it was a very weird mood change when we moved into the house.
Like, they get more quiet, more...
Yes. He was very shut off. Like, he didn't want to be around his friends and stuff, and it was creepy.
Like, he just wanted to be around the house?
Yeah. He just wanted to be home.
I've heard of that happening.
Right?
With not demonic possessions, but just possessions in general.
Like, he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So it was very
now, did he buy this house, or is it like a rental?
No, he rents it.
Okay.
Our neighbors were actually the ones that owned the house.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
We found an old photo book of like the family that lived there before, and there was this like little girl that you never saw.
Never saw? What do you mean never saw?
He had lived in the house across the street for like years.
Uh-huh.
And you never saw a little girl, but there was a photo book of a little girl with the family that lived there. Never saw a little girl.
That's weird.
Very weird.
Maybe it's something about the location that made...
We also found baby teeth.
Really? Where'd you guys find baby teeth?
In the green room.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's way worse.
Well, the way it's making me think is like maybe this house is the site of something bad that happened.
That's what I think.
And the bad energy fed the bad entity that's been following you.
That's what it kind of felt like.
And it's like the perfect storm. And whatever happened in the green room. And that's why whenever you were in the dream, I'm just interpreting all this, by the way. I don't know for a fact.
It's a great interpretation,
but like,
honestly.
The door got shut in your face because whatever happened doesn't have to do with you. And the shadow person is what had to do with you. That's why it came after you.
Right.
Instead of like you just being able to go into the green room. Because it sounds like you were on the path to like figuring out something in the dream and then got shut out. And then the shadow person come in. Like
it was almost like it didn't want me to see what had happened.
Yeah.
It wanted me to pull away from whatever the hell I was about to like come to the realization to.
Yeah. And
keep me in the mindset of bad things happen when this thing's around.
No, the photo album, where's it at now?
We gave it to the owners to give to the family that lived
Do we
there.
know, like, was there any dates on the photos? You know, like a timeline or anything like that?
It was just, they were like Polaroids.
How old was the girl?
The girl looked like she was like 8 or 9.
Mm.
And then there wasn't really other pictures of her. So,
Interesting.
hope nothing bad happened to her.
Interesting.
Because that would be sad.
Something happened. You hope it was a miracle, but it's a John Mulaney
Hope nothing
reference.
to break the attic door.
I know, right?
Ugh.
Did you ever go in the attic of that house?
Yes.
What was it like up there?
Creepy. Very, it felt dense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were like weighted
Mm-hmm.
while you were up there. There was a lot of weird stuff. There was an old TV. It was like a Nickelodeon TV, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Should have kept that.
Those are a commodity, you know.
It's a rare collector's item. Haunted and all. We found this weird painting
Uh-huh.
of this, he was like late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Just this guy. Super, super creepy painting. Like one of those paintings you would want,
Like
not
late
want to find.
20s?
Like late 20s.
1920s?
No, like he was. Like late 20s.
Oh, he was in his late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. But
he was dark skinned. I wouldn't say he was black. He didn't look black.
he
If that
didn't
makes
look
sense.
black. So, like, it was kind of like a pastel painting, or?
You could definitely tell somebody painted this.
So this was hand painted.
Hand painted.
And, like, would you say it's like one of those old not Shakespearean paintings? What's the word? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like a very Renaissance painting. Was it like that?
Not a Renaissance painting.
It was-
He looked like he was in like farmer's clothes.
Oh, okay. So it was kind of like somebody had done a portrait of him.
Mm-hmm. But it was weird because his eyes, like, the weirdest thing to notice, his eyes were like blank. Like, it didn't have any emotion in his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, if you painted somebody, it would have like a lot of, like, most people like focus the detail in the eyes.
Yeah.
No, it was very
Really
blank.
black, like black eyes.
They were brown.
Hmm.
And it was super creepy. I hated that painting. My ex wanted to keep it.
And do what with it?
I don't know. He was like, we should hang this up. And I was like, we should not.
Why would you?
I was like, we should burn this painting. This is a bad painting. This is a creepy painting. Either sell it or get it out of the house. I don't care what you do with it. It was not a good painting. It was very creepy.
Bad vibes.
Bad vibes all around.
Did the emotion you got, or the emotion, lack of emotion, I guess would be the proper word, from the painting, is that what you were also picking up from your ex towards the end?
Yes. Very much
Interesting.
so.
So now it's really telling me that something's going...
Like
if I
something
had to
was
guess-
definitely happening up in that house.
Yeah. That's
and I
weird.
did not like it.
That's definitely interesting. Where's some other stories you have about the shadow people before we get all caught up in the house?
Yeah. So same house. My ex had went to work.
Right.
And I had slept in because I didn't have to work that day.
Right. And then what happened?
I woke up and it kind of felt like pain, like on my back and like my legs. And so I got up and I went to the bathroom and I was looking in the mirror and I had a handprint on like the middle of my back.
Right.
And I put my hand to it thinking like I slept in a weird position and I left a handprint on myself. And it was bigger than my hand.
Really?
I have very small hands and it was bigger than mine. And it was just square in my back, like red.
And your ex wasn't home at all?
And my ex wasn't home at all. And then I had one, it was like, it would be like if someone gripped your thigh for too long.
Yeah.
I had that
On your thigh.
on my thigh. Same size. I put my hand to it and everything, same size as the other one. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like grabbing up on me while I'm sleeping.
And you've told me in the pre-interview, are you okay, B? You told me in the pre-interview that that's kind of pissed you off, and you actually spoke to
Yes. I actually got very angry about it because I was like, well, I'm willing to live with the thing, but it's not about to, like, grab me or, like, harm me or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's my one rule. You're not about to fucking touch me. I don't like it. I only like hugs. We're not doing this. So I got angry, and I was in the house alone, and I yelled. I was like, just don't fucking touch me. And then I kind of, like, went about my day. I woke up, like, 2 days later, and I had scratches in the same spots that I had the handprints.
Really?
And there were not scratches before.
And it scratches like somebody's hand had just been...
Like, somebody had, like, aggressively, like, grabbed me and, like, scratched.
So about, like, 4 scratches down your arm?
I honestly don't remember. I just remember the scratches.
What did you do after that? That's Evie, by the way.
After the scratches, I kind of was scared, and I looked up a bunch of stuff about, like, entities and, like, harming and everything, and they also told me to sage the house and get, like, a medium out or something to, like, cleanse the house. Well, my ex was not for that at all. He was very upset that I had even thought about it.
Really?
Yes. Because he does not like those types of things. Or so he said. But looking back on it, it was probably not him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, no, nobody needs to come cleanse the house. Like, what the hell are you even talking about?
Like, he got mad.
Meanwhile, I have scratches on my back and
like
my legs.
What was his reaction when you told him about the scratches?
He was like, scratches? What are you talking about? And I was like, I literally showed him, like, I pulled my pants up, and it looked like this. Like, I just scratched myself now. It looked like that.
Yeah.
It was like that, and then on my back.
So, like, 3 of them?
Yeah, it was exactly like this. It was like somebody had drugged their hand right across my leg.
Well, you know what? Three's like a bad sign.
Yep.
It's a very bad sign.
Scratches are a bad sign, Creighton.
3 scratches are a bad sign, but like 3 is very bad because like 3 in a lot of situations means like mocking of the Holy Trinity, and
which is very stressful for me.
It can mean like demonic possession and all kinds of stuff. I've talked about it, or not? We talked about it in the pre-interview because like I've grown up like looking up a lot, like reading a lot about not horror, but like ghosts and demons and stuff like that. The kind of stuff that like can come into your life and really fuck things up. And a lot of like the warning signs and the telltales of like demonic possession and that kind of stuff, at least according to like if you look at it from the Catholic angle, is like you'll see the knocking, which it'll come in 3s, and then the scratches, which come in 3s. And the 3s are supposed to be a mocking of the Holy Trinity. And that's like kind of like their way of being like, fuck you to like God and stuff like that. But it's...
Right.
But like, I don't know if that's the house or if that's like what's the shadow person, like the bad one.
It's very hard to distinguish that house and the bad thing that was following me. Yeah. Just because of the events that happened in the house. Yeah. It was very hard to distinguish them apart from each other. Right. Like Pete was in the house too. Yeah. But Pete was like casual. Like he would kind of like knock a few times, but it wasn't like banging. Like if the bad thing would do something, it was very loud and aggressive. Like you could tell the difference. Pete's were more of just like gentle, like brushes, or like you could hear something move a little bit and it would just stop. Yeah. It wouldn't continue. But if the bad thing had did something, it was like aggressively continuous. And it was very loud. Like he would make it known that it was there. Yeah. So it's easy to distinguish the two of them, but not really what was happening in the house and what was following me. Because it felt like the same, but in different ways. Yeah. So I couldn't tell if it was like my thing picking up on the bad stuff that was happening in the house.
Well, it sounds like they were both kind of like feeding off of each other a little bit.
Right.
But, I'm not an expert. I'm just going off
Right.
like the research that I've done into like these kinds of things and like the stuff that I've heard people talk about with this kind of stuff. But so you said you had some more creepy stuff, like really creepy stuff that you had heard or remembered that happened to you.
Yes, this will be in the house I'm currently living in.
Okay.
Woo.
By the way, has anything happened since we started talking about it?
I was actually on the way home after I dropped you off.
Yeah.
And I got the chills up my back again. And I kind of like, you do one of those like, I'm going to look around for a second to see if I notice him. I was driving home. I was like halfway there. And it was a quick like 1-2 across the street. Like in front of my car. Mm-hmm. Like not an animal, like the same figure I always see just straight in front of my car.
Pete or?
No.
Oh, not Pete.
No. Pete is a very, like, I notice, like, he looks like a regular person standing there. The bad thing is always dark and very shadowy and
this was just
not
like quick flashes across the street.
Yes.
Or quick shades or whatever across the road as you were driving.
And it wasn't like...
Was it low or high or?
Some would be low.
Yeah.
And then some would look like a person was literally, like, running across the street.
Oh, so it kept doing it.
Yes,
like
it did it multiple times as I was going home. And it was one of those like, are you going to mess with me when I get home? Because I'd rather go to sleep. I kind of want to just take a nap. But I would get home and like my house was, my mom's currently like redoing the living room connected like closer to my room.
Yeah.
So everything's very dark than it normally is.
Right.
Which was very scary to walk through after knowing I had talked about it and knowing it was around.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to hear anything move while I was trying to move through the dark. It was very stressful. But I really didn't hear anything in my house, which was more nervous. It's creepier when it's very quiet.
I know. You guys could hear her leaning up as she was going. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt what you were originally saying. But you were saying before that, this new house you're in.
Yes, the new house.
With your mom.
With my mom and my younger brother and my stepdad. Mm-hmm. The first day we moved in, my ex was actually helping me move into the house.
And this is the ex that we think might be possessed?
Yes. This was before we moved. We moved to the new house before I had actually moved into that house.
Okay, I got you.
So it's like in between.
So you were at your mom's house before the ex got possessed, potentially.
Yes. He helped me move in. We were at the house by ourselves at first, and we were in my room, and I had closed the door. And it sounded like somebody was playing pool.
Yes.
In my living room.
Charlie just came in, by the way. He's going to be quiet because he respects the interview. The art of the interview.
It sounded like somebody was playing pool. Like you could hear the balls like rolling on the pool table.
Like upstairs or like just in the house?
No, it's a one-level house.
Okay. Or, I mean, in the attic. Is there an attic?
There is not an attic.
Oh, okay.
Thank God. If she'd have bought a house with an attic, I straight up would never moved in the house. I'm like, no, I can't do it again. I can't go through the trauma. So I got very worried because I thought someone was in the house that we had just moved into because we've heard about break-ins and stuff in the neighborhood before. So I was worried that somebody was actually in the house.
Did he come in?
Yeah, he went outside to take Evie out.
Oh, okay.
So I made him go look through the house because I was scared.
Yeah.
And he grabbed my baseball bat and he walked through the whole house. Nobody was there. We closed the door and it was the same walking that you could hear in all of the other houses. Just walking to my door specifically.
Just socks?
Just socks. On my fucking carpet floor. I was so angry.
So do you think that one was Pete or do you think that one was the...
I think the walking is Pete.
Yeah.
I don't think it's I don't think it's the other thing because the other thing is more aggressive when it does things.
This is just calm walking.
This is just calm walking.
Yeah.
Like it's just following you around.
Yeah.
But you can hear it.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. It's like, I get it. You're there. I don't need to
Well, at
hear
least the
you.
socks aren't wet. Like, you know, imagine if it was
if
like
it was
squishy.
Oh, that would... I think I'd have to get rid of Pete if it was squishy. If he had squishy socks, I'd get rid of him.
It's strange to me because Pete's only, or at least who we think is Pete, has acted out only once in the beginning. And
right?
You said that happened because you were like, had said something about like how you were just going to ignore it.
After the first time I met Pete, it was just a constant, like you could hear people walking.
And talking.
And in my closet. It's always in my closet. I don't know why. In every house. If something happens to do with Pete, it's in my closet. Like you can hear knocking. Like in the house I'm in now. If you went there right now, you could probably just lay in my bed for about 5 minutes. And you'll hear like gentle like. Just constant. Just keeps going.
It's like, what the fuck you doing
And it's like, what the hell is that? And if you acknowledge it, if you're like, what the fuck, it'll move down the wall until it gets to like where it's beside you. It's almost like he's playing a game, but it's weird because I always see Pete and Pete looks like he's taller than me.
Yeah. So maybe he's just like squatting down and like, no.
Ugh. No, don't say that.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I just like, because Pete doesn't sound like.
Pete doesn't ever come off as like an aggressive person.
Yeah. Or shadow person.
Thing. Entity.
Yeah.
Other person being, whatever you want to call Pete. Pete's just Pete.
Yeah.
Pete, if anybody that I know has had an interaction with Pete, Pete has never been like aggressive.
Now, has anybody else seen Pete?
My little brother has. My little brother has actually seen like the entity, the bad one. It's messed with him a few times.
Really?
Yes.
So do you think it's like a family thing, or do you think it's like...
I think it's just because I was getting close to him at that point. Like I'm usually not really close to my family, but I was getting closer to him because like we were hanging out all the time. And it was like right after that. It was, we were hanging out in my room, and he went to the kitchen to get food. And if you go in the kitchen, my back door is like behind this like little half wall. Yeah. And my laundry room's in that room that goes in it. He was in the laundry room in the pantry, and he said he could hear somebody walking up to the kitchen, and he thought it was me, and he looked in the window, and you could kind of see the reflection into the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And he said it looked like somebody had walked past and like was like standing at the refrigerator, and he thought it was me trying to scare him. Mm-hmm. So he kind of like snuck up to the refrigerator and like jumped around the corner, and he said nobody was there. And he, like, booked it to my room.
How old was your brother at that time?
This was, like, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, very recent.
So this is in the new house?
Yes.
Now, how old's your brother, though?
He's 19.
19? Oh, okay. So, yeah. That would be pretty traumatic.
Yeah, right?
So what else has, like, happened that's, like, kind of creepy or... like, you know, because you were talking about, like, you started thinking about it and there's more terrifying things that have happened.
I was driving home from work one night, and this was like, I was 16, 17? I was driving home from work, and I got the same chill I always get, straight up the back of my neck, and it was like an initial, I need to look in the rearview mirror. And when I looked in the rearview mirror, somebody was sitting behind me. Mm-hmm. And so I immediately was like swerving on the road, like trying to see somebody behind me. Nobody there. And when I looked in the rearview mirror again, there was nobody there.
And that one you think is Pete? Or was Pete? No, you're not 100%.
I'm not 100% sure on that one, because that one startled me very badly. I've never had it happen while I was driving, and that was a tough experience.
Yeah. And that's in the car you have now?
No. God, no.
Oh, really? It's in a different car?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wrecked that car.
How did you wreck that car?
That's a long story. That has nothing to do with these two.
Okay, then good.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
If something traumatic happened to me because of them, like something I was like, my life was in danger, they'd be gone.
Oh,
I'd find a way. They would be gone so fast. I'd never have to deal with them again.
Now, what else has happened? It's like, because you told me about the rearview mirror thing. I think I have that one written down in my notes. Let's see. Oh, the pictures. You want to talk about those?
Pictures.
Yeah, that you have of them, because you've caught them a couple times.
Fuck, man. Oh, those are so scary. The pictures are the worst part because it's like, okay, I know I see
it's
them.
validation for what you see.
Yes, it is validation for what I see. The one, if you're on the Shirts Off podcast, you've heard about this picture.
You've seen the one, yeah.
You've seen the picture.
Yeah.
I was 17. I remember that. I can't tell you what movie I was watching, so please don't ask me.
It looked
I
like
don't
the
remember.
Notebook in that picture.
It probably was. I was laying down, and I remember my bed was in front of my window. Mm-hmm. So if anything happened at the window, I could hear it.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Now, where was that window on your house? Was it on the side, the back, the front? Okay, so you get, depending on where your house is.
If you're pulling up to the house, you can see my window.
Yeah, and you can hear somebody coming up the driveway, probably. Yes. Yeah.
You can hear somebody walking.
Yeah. Oh,
very
really?
distinctively. Like, that's how thin that damn window was.
Did you hear either of them walk up the driveway ever?
Not up the driveway, because the driveway's kind of a ways away from my house, actually. Yeah. But you could hear them outside.
Like the shadow people? What were they
Somebody.
doing?
I'm hoping it wasn't anybody else.
What were they doing out there? They just walking around?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you why they do anything.
But you could hear them, like, walking around outside.
Yeah, it was like, you could hear them just go past the room.
Just, like, walking by it, running by it? Like,
just walking. Which is way creepier when it's outside of your window.
And pacing and stuff, or? Mm-hmm.
Just casual.
But
casual,
back to
like they're having to stroll through the fucking park. Just right beside my window. But the picture, I was laying down, I was watching a movie. And I remember I was on my phone, because it was a Snapchat picture. I was on my phone, and I went to take a picture and send it to my friend. And as I took the picture, I looked like...
Now, did you have flash on at all, or no?
No.
Okay.
No, because I'm very lazy, I don't care that much about them. So I went to take the picture, and I clicked it, and as I clicked it, I was like, what the hell is that? And I zoomed in, and as I zoomed in, I was like, I looked up from my phone to see if it was still there. Because I immediately saw, like, the two little figures right in front of my bed.
So for those of you, I'll try to have it put up whenever we put it up on YouTube, but the picture looks like two people are sitting at the end of your bed, basically.
Not even at the end of my bed.
Really?
It looks, because my bed was pretty high up, it looked like their heads were, like, like at my bed. Yeah. So it looked like they were sitting
that's what
on
I mean.
the floor in front of my bed.
That's what I mean, like, kind of like leaned up against your bed watching TV. Because it doesn't look like they're facing you at all.
That I couldn't tell. It looks like very blocky, like they had hair.
Yeah.
Which is... I was like, what the fuck is this? I was freaking out when I saw that picture.
Now, did you see them when you looked to go?
No.
Okay.
When I looked, because I dropped my phone immediately. And I was like, I looked, and like you do like the strain thing to see if there's anything there. And then I pulled my phone back up and put the flash on.
And then it took another picture?
No. Because I was scared. I was looking around my room because I thought somebody was in my room. I thought it was one of my brothers messing with me. Yeah. Like, hid in my room, waited for me to lay down, and then got up.
The crazy part, in the picture, you can see, like, through the shadows, too.
Yeah, you can see behind them. You can see, like, in one of them, you can see the corner of my dresser.
Yeah, the way the TV is, like, it's on, facing towards you, and the shadows are blocking out the TV a little bit, but you can still see the TV through the shadows. Yep. So,
it was, like, definitely there, but, like, not there. So I was like, what the fuck is this? I was actually talking to Caitlin. Like, I sent it to Caitlin. Caitlin was freaking out. Because I took the picture and I sent it with the caption and everything. And she was like...
By the way, the caption's the best part of that picture. Because it's like, lol, it looks like two people are sitting in my bed.
She was like, Kayla, you're so casual about this. And how are you not freaking the fuck out? Because I'm freaking the fuck out. And then she called me and she was like, are they still there? Can you still see them? I was like, no, dude, they're not there anymore. I don't know what this is. I don't know what to do with this. Because I've never seen, like, both of them at the same time. Yeah. So it was just like, glad you guys could come to my meeting, I guess. So that was the first one. And then, like, a couple of months ago, I took another one. And it was in my vanity mirror. Mm-hmm. And my vanity was sitting, like, where my dresser was in that first picture, my vanity would be sitting right beside it, to the right. And if you were sitting in my vanity, you could see my closet. Or at least, like, the doorway. And you could see, like, my bookshelves behind me. Mm-hmm. Well, I took the picture. and it looked like something was behind me, but like far away, like it was like at my closet. So I like zoomed in on that picture like an idiot. I should have just left it alone. Wish I hadn't noticed it. And it looked like someone was peeking, like not even like a person, because there was no like distinctive features. Jesus.
Mm.
There was no distinctive features. Like you couldn't see like eyes or nose or anything like that. It was just very like blocky. Like it was like hand, head. And I was like, oh God, delete. That was probably the worst one because it wasn't in front of me, it was behind me.
Yeah.
And so I was like immediately like snatched around, like my closet door was open, I went and closed it. Like
was your closet door open before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it didn't open it this time.
No.
That was the one that gets me. It's like the hands that you could see. Now, were the hands shadowed at all, or was it like you could see like skin color and stuff, or no?
It was shadowed. Like it was it wasn't black, but it wasn't like skin toned either.
Mm-hmm.
It was very like gray, but see through. Like I could see where my door frame was under the hands. And I could see where my closet door was.
And how could you make out the face? Was the face peeking out, or like was
you could see like the head shape. Like it was like you could see the hand cupping, like the hands cupping the door, and you could see the shape of a
Now,
head.
were these like full-sized hands and head, or was it kind of like small?
No, it looked full size.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looked like full-grown adults standing in my closet looking at me.
Now, how far away would you say was that from you?
Like 4 feet.
So definitely within arm's reach.
Yup. Very traumatizing for that, thank you.
And you immediately deleted it.
Immediately deleted it. Like the first one, I kept it because I was like, holy fuck, look at this shit.
Yeah.
That one was terrifying because it was behind me while I was taking just a regular old picture, just looking at me from my closet. And I don't like that.
I mean, I get. I wish you hadn't deleted it.
I wish I hadn't deleted it for this.
Yeah.
But goddamn, that picture was scary.
Now, you have any more pictures of them, or like have they showed up in any like photo out, like family stuff or otherwise?
Not that anyone's pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably out there somewhere, just in one of my regularized pictures that I'm taking, and it's just behind me. Mm-hmm. But I haven't noticed it.
Now, has there been any times where like you could see them but nobody else could?
Yes, I was staying at a friend's house, and we had went to sleep, and I'd kind of woke up, and the door was open from his room, and it was like the same thing from the picture.
Oh, like where it's peeking in?
Like peeking in, and I was like.
Oh, you saw it in person this time, though.
Yes, like I was looking at it, just there. It wasn't going away. Kept eye contact the whole time. Like I was shaking this guy to wake him up. Oh. And he was like looking. He was like, "There is literally nothing there. What the hell are you talking about?" And that's when I lost it. I was freaking out because I was like, "There's no way he doesn't see this right there." Like this was like 10 foot from us. It's not like I need glasses to see this kind of thing. It's like right there.
And like you were laying down.
Yes.
And it was just it was in his closet?
No, it was like in his
in the doorway
to his room. And like this, he had his bathroom light on. That was like behind this thing. So it was like I definitely saw this thing there.
Yeah.
It was black and I could see fingers.
Yeah.
Like that was the most distinctive I've ever seen something.
And what happened, like, because you kept eye contact with it?
Yeah, I was freaking out because I was
like
trying
to... Was it moving at all, or?
Kind of. Like, it would shift its hands.
Uh-huh.
But it wouldn't ever, like, duck behind the door.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was just, like if the door's here, it was like it was looking like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
And what did it do eventually? Did it just go back out the door?
I kind of, like, tried to ignore it. Like, I was like, you're, like, 100% sure. Like, I kept asking this guy. I was like, are you sure you don't see anything right there? He was like, are you on drugs? Mm-hmm. And I was like, no. For once in my life, this is not a drug-initiated thing. Like, I'm sober as shit. Mm-hmm. And this thing is just looking at me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If it gets me, it gets me. I'm gonna just try and go to sleep. So I rolled over. I faced the wall. I closed my eyes for a little bit, and I thought about it again. And I was like, no, I need to know. And I looked over, and it was gone. Could not sleep for the rest of the night.
And it was shifting its hands up and down. That's the thing that gets me, because I'm like, I wonder why it wouldn't like move one way or the other. You know, because you think after you spot it, it's gonna do something.
Right. It's either gonna like try to like go away into a different room, or it's gonna come at me.
Yeah.
Nope, it just
like the other times we've talked about the encounters that you've had with it, it's like either been in dreams where it's just run at you, or it's been like in person where it kind of like
it was definitely coming for me, right?
Now, which one do you think this one was? The bad one?
This did not feel like it was mine.
Oh, really?
It didn't look like mine at all. Like, this looked like a little girl.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it was closer to the ground. It almost looked like you could see, like, longer hair. And it was just there. I could see, like, fingers, but it was, like, solid black. And you could see, like, the distinction of, like, individual fingers coming off of
So this one wasn't yours, then?
This was not mine.
Neither. Dang. Now, did this one attach itself to you, or?
No, I have never seen this one again. It was one time, and I wish I hadn't seen it.
And it was at his house?
It was at his house.
Is that anybody we know? Can we talk to him?
He probably won't talk to you about it because he's not into that kind of thing, but he denies it. He denies that I ever saw anything. It should fuck me up.
Like, so, some of the things going through my head when you tell me that is like, either he's trying to ignore it, because, like, it sounds like...
I can't blame him if he tries to ignore it, so...
Or, like, it's not attached to him. It's attached to somebody else that he lives with.
That would be way worse.
Yeah.
I feel so bad.
And maybe he just, like, doesn't see it because it doesn't want him to see it. But it sounds to me like this thing just kind of realized you were there and was like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Right.
Like, trying to check you out to see, like, what...
We can go check somebody else out. That was creepy.
That's... I don't like that.
Nope. That's one of those moments where you're like, am I on drugs? There's got to be drugs.
Does this guy's house have any weird vibes to it, or... Nah?
Nope. I didn't go to his house after that.
Oh, really?
No.
You wouldn't go back?
Nope.
Did it come with him at all? Like...
I never saw this thing. That one time is the only time I saw it.
And how often have you hung out with this person?
I hung out with him for like months.
So
that
sounds more to me like it's either attached to the property or it's attached to somebody else. Because, like, that doesn't sound like it was attached
The only
to
person,
him.
he lives with his dogs.
He doesn't live with anybody else?
No.
So that might be something that's on the property itself.
It messed me up, dude.
Is this also out in Buford?
Mm-hmm.
See, there you go. Another one that's out that way. We keep talking about, like, and remember, this isn't really connected to the shadow people, but you remember the dream that we talked about that you had?
Oh, yeah.
With your friend who also had this, like, a similar dream. If you want to tell that story real quick, because that one, like, is the one that really
that
shook
one was
me
a
up.
roller coaster.
Yeah.
So me and my friend Caitlin had the same dream, but different perspectives. It was like she was in the dream, and it was like I was like watching the dream on like a TV screen.
Yeah, you were having like a good time in the movie theater or something.
Right. I was just enjoying myself, just like checking everything out, just walking around, following these guys. The best way I could explain it felt like I was a ghost.
So kind of like that episode of Avatar, The Last Airbender, you know?
Yes!
Like where he's in the spirit world, but like he's not in the spirit world. Like he's still like walking around, but nobody can see him.
Yes, that's what it felt like. So there was like a tunnel in between this house and like the memorial site.
Like, so background for those of you listening that don't live in where around the area that we live at. There's this place called Buford, which is about west of our town, or no, east of our town. And there's a site out there that was referenced in one of the Percy C. Jackson books, but has been out there forever. It's the site of, I believe, the Buford Massacre, which took place during the Revolutionary War. And that's about all I know about it off the top of my head. You do your own research and everything like that. But it's in
Do it on
Beaufort,
your own time.
it's in Beaufort, South Carolina, and there's a memorial out at what we call the Beaufort Crossroads, which is probably like the heart of Beaufort. And probably like if you're coming from our town and you go straight out to the crossroads, it'll be to the right, and there's a big memorial when there's this mass grave out there of where all the soldiers were buried. And you could telling your story, because that's the background that I'm giving for this area, because that's the one you were having the dream about, was the area.
So, I was just like following them around. It was like they couldn't see me, which was annoying, because it was my friend and I wanted to talk to her. I was like, "Oh, what are you? You're gonna talk to me? That's rude." So she was with her family. Don't know why the hell they would be in my dream in the first place. Like, that's rude. Don't just invite yourself over. So they started walking down this tunnel, and I was like, "What the hell are we doing in here?"
It goes into the memorial, by the way. Like into the pit where they were buried.
Yeah.
The soldiers, not the family. Yeah.
That's where her family's buried. Oh, God. That would be worse.
Family's been dead the whole time.
So they started walking down this tunnel, and it sounded like somebody was walking up behind them. And so we all just kind of stopped. Like, they can't see me, but I stopped with them because I was like, what the hell's going on? So we all looked back, and there was this person, like, standing there with antlers.
You said you felt a presence, too, right?
Yeah, it felt like... It didn't feel bad, but it wasn't, like, a good feeling either.
Yeah.
It was like a... It's shifty. There's some shifty shit going on right here. And so... Her dad, like, yelled at it. And it just kept looking at us. And he, like, walked up to the thing. And as he did, the thing, like, grabbed him and, like, broke its antler off. And just, like, straight up through his fucking mouth into his brain, shoved the antler. And so they all started running. And I turned to see where they were going. And it was like they disappeared. And then I got, like, this feeling of, like, I was standing in the tunnel. Like, I was currently present and no longer, like...
Invisible.
Like, background noise of this, like, video.
Yeah.
And as I, like, looked back at the thing, it turned to me. Like, it looked at... Like, it could see me. And started running.
At you?
At me.
There's shit always running at you in these dreams.
I think it knows I'm scared of it. And as soon as it got, like, about halfway to me, I woke up. And then the next day, my friend called me and was telling me about the dream, and I had deja vu because I had the same dream.
What happened to her, by the way, after, like, they took off running?
I have no clue. They disappeared.
No, I'm talking about from her perspective.
She said she woke up.
Oh, that's why they disappeared.
That's way worse. That's way worse. It was like I was in her dream, and then just like, oh, now it's my dream. She logged off. It's mine now. That sucks. That's worse. That's worse. I don't like other people's dreams. They can keep them to themselves.
Well, on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this first episode of Creighton Talks. Thank you, Kyle, for all your stories.
You're welcome.
And we'll probably have you on again to talk about some more stories, because, like, you got more, right? Or,
yeah, there's tons.
But
traumatization from the dead.
I feel like this is a pretty solid first episode, you know?
You're welcome.
I haven't figured out a guest yet for the second episode, but I'm working on it, and I'll have it up and ready to go whenever it's ready. Talk to you guys later.